The average cost of living in the U.S. is approximately $5,253 a month, or $63,036 a year. How affordable a city is depends on a range of factors, including the price of housing, utilities, groceries, and more. Keep watching to learn about the cheapest places to live in the U.S. Cheapest places to live in Mississippi. The average cost of living in Mississippi is $48,567. The average rent in Biloxi is $690 a month. Gas prices are $302, and the unemployment rate is 3.1%. It's a safe and livable city with sandy beaches, fresh seafood, and a thriving casino industry. The average rent in Gulfport is $637 a month. Gas prices are $3.02, and the unemployment rate is 5.5%. It thrives thanks to its seaside attractions. It also has more available housing than Biloxi. The cost of living in Hattiesburg is 16.3% below the national average. Housing is 36% below the average with home values of $145,300. The unemployment rate is 5.4%. It's a smaller city but has several universities and museums to keep things interesting. Cheapest places to live in Indiana. The average cost of living in Indiana is $52,038. The average rent in Gary is $685 a month. Gas prices are $3.24, and the unemployment rate is 4.9%. It's also a short commute to the larger city of Chicago. The average rent in Terre Haute is $5.57 a month. Gas prices are $3.24 per gallon, and the unemployment rate is 4.2%. It's a river town nicknamed the Crossroads of America. It has several universities and a mix of students and professionals. The cost of living in Fort Wayne is 14% below the national average. The average house price is $103,000, and rent is $681 a month. The unemployment rate is 5.2%. Wages are high while the cost of living is low, and there's an expected 38.6% increase in jobs in the next 10 years. Healthcare, insurance, and manufacturing are a few of the strongest job markets. The cost of living in Kokomo is 16.9% below the national average. Home prices of around $284,000 are 28% cheaper than the average. You'll also save on transportation and groceries. The unemployment rate is 6.8%, but peaked at 31% in 2020, and the poverty rate of 11.9% matches the U.S. average. Cheapest places to live in Ohio. The average cost of living in Ohio is $52,000. The average rent in Toledo is $679 a month, gas prices are $3.11, and the unemployment rate is 5.5%. It's a safe and friendly city right along beautiful Lake Erie that also offers museums and cultural sites to enjoy. The average rent in Euclid is $678 a month, with gas prices of $3.11 a gallon, and an unemployment rate of 3.7%. It's a suburb of Toledo that still lets you have waterfront property along Lake Erie and quick access to unique attractions and businesses. The average monthly rent in Medina is $672 a month, with gas prices of $3.11, and an unemployment rate of 3.7%. It's another suburb with a modern, active vibe that's perfect for young professionals. The average monthly rent in Ashland is $640. Gas prices are $3.11 per gallon, and the unemployment rate is 5.6%. It's a smaller Cleveland suburb with a friendly atmosphere. The average rent in Youngstown is $615 a month, and gas prices are $3.11 a gallon. The unemployment rate is 6.7%. The city thrived during the steel days of America. It sits between Cleveland and Pittsburgh and has a lower cost of living than both of them. The average rent in Elyria is $582 a month. Gas prices are $3.11 a gallon, and the unemployment rate is 5.6%. It's a suburb of Cleveland, located along the Black River that is safe and family-friendly. Cheapest places to live in Oklahoma. The cost of living in Oklahoma City is 12% below the national average. Housing is 23% below the national average, with home prices at $142,700 and rent at $793 a month. The unemployment rate is 3.7%. It has plenty of manufacturing and energy jobs and unique attractions. Cheapest places to live in Tennessee. The average cost of living in Tennessee is $50,152. It also doesn't charge a state income tax. The average rent in Johnson City is $6.62 a month, with gas prices of $3.10 per gallon and an unemployment rate of 4.1%. It has big city amenities like industry and entertainment buildings, but also offers natural wonders thanks to the Appalachian Mountains. The cost of living in Nashville is 4% below the national average. Home prices are $174,000 with rent at $902 a month. The unemployment rate is 4.3%, and it offers plenty of employment options. The cost of living in Knoxville is 16.4% below the national average. Home values are $186,000, and the unemployment rate is 3.5%. Costs for everything from food to transportation are lower in the city that originally served as the capital of Tennessee. The cost of living in Memphis is 14.6% to 19% below the national average, with an unemployment rate of 6.1% to 7.2%. Real estate prices are up to $50,000 below average as well. The cost of living in Jackson is 15.5% to 20.9% below the national average. Housing is 40% cheaper, with home values averaging $121,000. The unemployment rate is 4.4% to 5.4%. It's a regional trade center with plenty of employment opportunities. The cheapest places to live in Arkansas. The average cost of living in Arkansas is $49,970. The cost of living in Conway is 14.6% below the national average. The average rent is $660 a month, and gas prices of $3.93 a gallon, and an unemployment rate of 3.4%. It's a suburb of Little Rock that's just as popular as the larger city. The average rent in Fayetteville is $640 a month, gas prices are at $309, and the unemployment rate is 2.8%. It was 5th on U.S. News & World Report's list of best places to live in 2021. It's full of young professionals and surrounded by the beautiful Ozark Mountains. Cheapest places to live in Texas. The average cost of living in Texas is $53,000 a year. The average rent in Killeen is $595 a month, gas prices are at $303, and the unemployment rate is 4.3%. Killeen has been ranked as one of the best places to live in Texas. It's a military town next to Fort Hood that also offers great colleges and museums. The average rent in Brownsville is $585. Gas prices are $303, and the unemployment rate is 7%. It's right next to the Gulf of Mexico, giving it warm weather and easy access to beaches. The cost of living in Dallas is 2% below the national average. Home prices sit at $142,000, and rent is $888 a month. The unemployment rate is 4.6%. The Dallas-Fort Worth area was recently ranked as one of the top labor markets in the U.S., so you won't struggle to find a job. You also won't have to look too far for interesting attractions, such as the city's World Aquarium, Zoo, and Museum of Art. The cost of living in Amarillo is 18.3% below the national average. Housing costs are 39% cheaper at approximately $156,000 a year. The unemployment rate is 3.6%. You'll notice several specific savings, such as 35% cheaper optometrist visits, 28% cheaper dry cleaning, and 15% cheaper washer repairs. The cost of living in San Antonio is 12% below the national average. The average home price is $121,000, and rent is $882 a month. The unemployment rate is 4.5%. You'll save on healthcare, utilities, groceries, and housing. There are also opportunities for jobs in science and technology. The cost of living in Harlingen is 22.7% below the national average. Home values are $89,000, the average rent is $702 a month, and the unemployment rate is 7.9%. Groceries and gasoline are cheaper than almost anywhere else, but 25.6% of residents live below the poverty line. The cost of living in McAllen is 22.3% below the national average. Housing costs are 29% cheaper, with home values averaging at $93,000. Healthcare is 29% cheaper, and groceries are 15% cheaper. The unemployment rate is 8%. Utilities are a bit more expensive because of sweltering temperatures, and the poverty rate is 27%. Cheapest places to live in Oklahoma. The average cost of living in Oklahoma is $52,805. The average monthly rent in Lawton is $550, one of the lowest in the U.S. Gas prices are at $3.05 a gallon, and the unemployment rate is 4.2%. It's close enough to Oklahoma City, but also provides natural escapes like Lake Latonka. The cost of living in Tulsa is 13% below the national average. Home prices are $126,200, and rent is $757 a month. Tulsa is the second largest city in Oklahoma. It offers several job opportunities and is even paying workers $10,000 to move to the city and work remotely. Cheapest places to live in Alabama. The cost of living in Huntsville is 4% below the national average. House prices are $51,441, while rent is $750 a month. The city charges slightly above the average cost of living for the state, but still ranks among the U.S. News & World Report's most affordable cities. Housing and transportation costs are low, and there are plenty of job and entertainment opportunities. The cost of living in Mobile is 13.9% below average. Housing is 35% below average, with home values of $139,000. The unemployment rate is 4.8%. Mobile was founded in 1702 by the French as a colony and retains its diverse culture. It's also a port city with shipping jobs as well as opportunities in healthcare, tech, and engineering. The cost of living in Anniston is 17.7% below the national average. Housing is 40% cheaper, with home value averages at $12,600, and the unemployment rate is 4.1%. It holds a Guinness World Record as one of the 10 cheapest U.S. cities to live in. The only thing you won't save on is utilities. They cost 24% more than average. The cost of living in Florence is 15.2% below the national average. Housing is 32% lower, with home values averaging $145,000 and rent at $626 a month. The unemployment rate is 3.5%. Cheapest cities in Iowa. The cost of living in Des Moines is 13% below the national average. Home values are $119,800, and the average monthly rent is $775. The unemployment rate is 5%. Costs for housing, utilities, transportation, and groceries are all low. There are plenty of universities, and you can also enjoy the Iowa State Fair or downtown farmers market. The cost of living in Waterloo or Cedar is 14.9% below the national average. Housing is 21.5% cheaper, with home values of $158,500. The unemployment rate is 4%. Cheapest places to live in Michigan. The cost of living in Flint, Michigan is $53,281. The average rent is $684 per month, with gas prices of $3.28 a gallon and an unemployment rate of 5.7%. It's still facing a water crisis, but there are several reasons to give it a chance. Flint is a diverse city with several universities. It's also the fourth largest in Michigan and one of the safest. You'll have a quick commute of only about an hour to larger cities like Detroit and Lansing. The cost of living in Kalamazoo is 22.9% below the national average. It's the cheapest city in the U.S., but that's in part because over 26% of its residents are below the poverty line. The unemployment rate is 4.6%, but medical employers like Pfizer are offering jobs. Cheapest places to live in Illinois. The cost of living in Illinois is $53,654. The average rent in Springfield is $637 per month. Gas prices are $3.07 a gallon, and the unemployment rate is 3.3%. The job market is growing, and natural attractions like the Ozarks and Mark Twain Natural Forest are bringing in residents and visitors. The average rent in Henderson is $640 a month. Gas prices are $3.08 a gallon, and the unemployment rate is 3.3%. The city used to be a train town along the Ohio River that welcomed several presidents. It now serves as a quiet, small city. The cost of living in Decatur, Illinois is 14.2% below the national average. Housing costs are 30% lower than average, with home values at $105,500. Doctor's appointments are 13% cheaper, and a gallon of milk is even 20% less expensive. Other affordable U.S. cities. The cost of living in both Decatur and Hartselle, Georgia is 13.4% below the national average. Housing is 34% cheaper. Home values sit at $142,000 and rent is 43% less than average. The unemployment rate is 2.6%. Decatur is one of the busiest ports on the Tennessee River, has a NASA flight center, and is also a tourist destination. These sectors provide plenty of jobs. Hartselle relies on tourism for its money, but is also an affordable option. The cost of living in Buffalo, New York is 17% below the national average and 50% less than New York City. The average home value is $72,600 and the monthly rent is $710. The unemployment rate is 5.8%. You'll save on housing and healthcare, and the job market is growing. The cost of living in Kansas City, Kansas is 8% below the national average. Home values are $136,000 and rent is $826 a month. It's a safe city with a growing job market and low housing, healthcare, and transportation costs. The cost of living in Omaha, Nebraska is 9% below the national average. The average home value is $140,000 and rent is $819 a month. The unemployment rate is 3.8%. It's the largest city in Nebraska and offers plenty of job and education opportunities. The cost of living in Tampa, Florida is 1% below the national average. Average home values are $172,000 with rent at $983 a month. The unemployment rate is 6.2%. There's no state income tax and you'll enjoy beautiful weather and easy access to everything you could want in a city. The cost of living in Lynchburg, Virginia is 13.5% below the national average. Housing costs are 30% lower. Average home values are $164,800 and rent is $766 a month. Gas is 11% cheaper. The unemployment rate is 4.3%. Have you settled down in one of the cheapest places to live in the U.S.? Let us know in the comments section below. And be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Viewcation for more. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.